City of Johannesburg council sitting is going ahead this morning. That's despite a last-minute attempt to stop it. Mayor Mpho Phalatse has filed an urgent application at the High Court to prevent the special sitting from going ahead. Now, the meeting is expected to table a motion of no confidence against her. Mbali Thethani is following the story for us. Mbali, we know that any moment from now, Mayor Mpho Phalatse is set to brief the media. And, of course, we know perhaps her position because she's written a letter saying that she won't resign and she's calling for support.
That's certainly right, Mpho. Of course, the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Mpho Phalatse, just a short while ago did indeed call for a press briefing. And of course, she is expected to outline to us when it comes to her position. And you're certainly right. We saw that letter from her doing the rounds in social media just yesterday, also coupled with a video clip where she said in that letter that she will not be resigning. Of course, just on Wednesday when we were here at the Johannesburg Council, we saw then when the Speaker, Colleen Makhubele, was elected into her position, we saw some of the members from the opposition saying that her days are numbered in office, and of course they will then also be tabling a motion of no confidence against her. We are expecting that motion of no confidence to start around 10 o'clock this morning. But while that motion takes place, Mpho, we know that this morning we saw the court papers coming out from Mpho's office, and they are declaring that this meeting be declared by the courts as invalid, unlawful and null and void. And they are saying that the programming meeting that took place yesterday did not correlate. We understand that there are 13 members in that programming meeting, and they're saying that there was no full correlation done there. And of course, they are saying that they want the court to declare even that meeting that took place yesterday as unlawful. So we will then be shortly hearing from Mpho Phalatse when it comes to whether also those in that multi-party government will then be tending, this meeting that is expected to take place at around 10 o'clock this morning. You are certainly right there as well. We heard just a short while ago from Action SA leader Herman Mashaba also declaring the meeting that took place yesterday as illegal, also claiming that if council goes ahead today, it will then be an illegal sitting of council. Also, they're saying that the members of Action SA will not be attending council meeting. But we know that for council to convene and sit, there's at least 270 members. We'd need at least 136 council members for this meeting to go ahead. And if you look at the numbers from Wednesday, when it comes to the numbers looking into the ANC, EFF, and those from the opposition, they had at least 141 numbers. As you can see, stepping into the camera there is indeed the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. Let's take a listen to what she has to say to the residents of Johannesburg.
Good morning, Johannesburg residents. I'm here with Councillor Fatima Abdul, newly sworn in UIM councillor, one of our replacement councillors after the coalition had to expel some councillors who betrayed the coalition. Some of our partners are busy caucusing with their individual caucuses. That's why they're not here. But however, we do not recognize today's meeting as legitimate. Later on Thursday, 29 September 2022, the Speaker of Council, Councillor Colleen Makhubele, the City of Johannesburg and the members of the Programming Committee were served with papers questioning procedure followed in calling for an extraordinary meeting of Council. In our papers, which have been served on the respondents and filed in the High Court, we argue that the notices convening the 9th Extraordinary Council Meeting of Council for 30 September 2022 at 10 o'clock, issued by the Speaker of Council, Councillor Colleen Makhubele, be declared to be unlawful, invalid, null and void. On behalf of the Joburg multi-party government, our papers will be filed in the High Court, stating inter alia that the Programming Committee of Thursday, 29 September 2022 was incorrect. Therefore, its decision to call a council meeting on 30 September 2022 be declared unlawful, invalid, and of no force or effect. The council meeting convened by notices and schedules for 30 September 2022 at 10 o'clock be ordered and directed not to take place. What must be highlighted is the irregular manner and haste in which the sitting of council was called ahead of recess, which takes effect from the 1st of October 2022, despite the Speaker of Council stating on the 28th of September that an extraordinary meeting would take place after the recess period. At 9 minutes past 1 in the afternoon on Thursday, the Speaker called for a sitting of the Programming Committee to take place at 4 o'clock on the same day, 3 hours later, notwithstanding that there was no explanation for the extreme urgency for the calling of such a meeting. In my experience, the calling of Programming Committee meetings at such short notice is extremely unusual. After all, its function is to properly ensure that the council meetings run smoothly with due notice and planning. Further to this, on 29 September 2022, at 25 minutes past 1 in the afternoon, the Speaker gave notice of an extraordinary meeting for 10 o'clock on 30 September 2022. This is less than 20 hours' notice of that meeting. We accept the Speaker's right to call meetings, but submit that to call a meeting of 270 councillors of the city on less than a day's notice, without grounds of extreme urgency and special need, is in breach of the requirement that meetings must be called within a reasonable notice period. Rule 55 of Council requires 3 days' notice for ordinary meetings, and although there is no such requirement for extraordinary meetings, the past practice of Council for at least 6 years has been to call extraordinary meetings on at least 3 days' notice. Rule 6.2b requires that the Speaker have cognizance of the established practice. We submit that there is no reason why a meeting to decide on the removal of the executive mayor, and by extension the entire executive of the city, cannot be called on 3 days' notice. Our founding affidavit has been filed on an urgent basis due to the confusion and chaos that could be effected should the meeting proceed. The Joburg multi-party government does not believe that the Speaker is acting in the interests of the residents of Joburg and the Council. She must therefore be challenged legally, as an appeal to sense, rationale, and the law has fallen on deaf ears. It is unfortunate that the Speaker of Council, who is charged with upholding the rules of Council and the laws of our land, has chosen to play fast and loose with these democratic functions. We are therefore deeply concerned about her tenure as Speaker. Approaching the court is the last resort in the interest of the residents and the rule of law. The rules of Council and laws of the country cannot be manipulated for wicked political agendas.
Thank you, Madam Executive Mayor. We'll take a handful of questions. We'll start in front here.
Mbali Thethani from Newzroom Afrika. Can we get an indication exactly when the court will be hearing this matter? Because I understand that you only filed it this morning.
Yes, we did file this morning. As I mentioned, the notice only went out yesterday afternoon. So we filed this morning, and our lawyers are in court as we speak, and we're getting updates.
Namazivankosi from the Sowetan newspaper. Mayor, yesterday you took to social media, which generated varied reactions with the hashtag Save Hands Off Joburg, yes. So I just wanted to ask the thinking behind taking to social media, because at this point voters have done what they could, and it's now up to your parties as well as I suppose members of the coalition. And also, can you speak, what message do you think the back and forth between Action SA and the DA sends to the city? Because it looks as if things are just in tatters. It's a your situation.
Yeah. It's true. I mean, that's a very good question. In fact, I think we need to really invest in voter education, because voters need to understand that they only have a say during elections. After elections, their fate is in the hands of their councillors. However, we believe that voters still have power, and that they can still appeal to their councillors to do what's right by the voters. They are the residents, and the government that's in the council now is serving the residents. Councillors cannot vote in council according to their own selfish ambitions. They need to remember who put them in power. They need to vote according to what the voters want. This was really me opening up to our voters We get a lot of requests for media. At the same time, we're working, we're trying to deliver services, and we're trying to save the city at the same time. Me sending out a video was just communicating to everybody and sending out an open letter so that the communication is out there and everybody is aware of what's going on. But the hidden agenda behind all of this, because we know and we believe that this is all because the ANC and their partners want access to the 77 billion rand budget of the City of Johannesburg. We believe that our voters still have a voice, but I also hope that this is a lesson to our voters for the next election in 2024 and the next election after that, that what happens in between is really in the hands of the people that they put in office.
Mayor, what do you have to...
There was a question about the back and forth between political parties.
The coalition met immediately after what happened, after the election of a new speaker. The coalition is in a good place, and it's in a place of regrouping. I do not agree with the back and forth between the DA and the and Action SA. I believe that that's been managed within the coalition. However, our focus now is Johannesburg. It's our 6 million residents, and it's what we can do to save the city.
Coming to the question that my colleague Namazima just asked, when it comes to the issues around this coalition, and essentially some residents saying that, well, rather the opposition saying that you are holding on to power in the city of Johannesburg because no political party got an outright majority. What do you have to say to that comment?
It's absolutely untrue. I don't know what they mean, I'm holding on to power. I was democratically elected as the mayor of the city, and if I'm to be removed, it has to be done lawfully. And if a new mayor is to be elected, it has to be done lawfully, and there has to be no question as to the legitimacy of that mayor. Johannesburg cannot afford that kind of stability. Things must be done by the book. The Speaker of Council has the duty of upholding the rules of council, the rules of the land. And our residents will only have peace and stability once this House, the Council of Johannesburg, upholds the rule of law.
Madam Mayor, we know that this is a numbers game. Those with the numbers, they win. By you going to court, are you not confident that you'll be able to defeat this motion? I mean, we have the coalition. Are you worried that your coalition partners might betray you?
Going to court is not about the motion. Going to court is about the validity of the council meeting. We do not recognize today's meeting as valid. We don't recognize it as being lawful. And that's why we went to court. It's just to ensure that we invoke the laws of this land, the rules of council, to do what's right by our residents. We can deal with the numbers game in a legitimate meeting of council. Today's meeting is not that meeting.
One last question.
Mayor, can you substantiate your claims that the opposition parties want to steal from the city's coffers?
There are many instances of corruption. Even right now, we continue to refer cases to group forensic investigations, to the SAPs, to the Hawks. The latest was a 27 million rand payout that makes absolutely no sense, which we have referred for investigation. We are investigating. I cannot give more information. So that sort of thing is happening. We do know that the opposition has links in the administration and that they are maneuvering in the administration through some corrupt officials, but we are dealing with them. We're cleaning up, and that's why they want us out.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Thank you, colleagues, for joining us at such short time. We'll keep in communication during the course of today. Thank you.
Lastly, will you be attending council meetings?
Yes, actually.
We just want to ask that last question.
Sure. Does that mean council continues, or
are you attending council?
We do not believe that the council meeting is valid. We will be there to see what's going on. We will be there so that we can witness what is happening, so that whatever happens thereafter, at least we would have witnessed what happened.
Thank you very much, colleagues.
Of course, as you can see, Mpho, that is the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Mpho Phalatse. Regardless of them not recognizing this meeting that is sitting now at 10 o'clock as legit, they are saying that they will still then continue to be present in the council chambers when it is underway.
Very well, Mbali, Thethani. Of course, we will continue to bring viewers more on this matter.